Damn, daddy.
That was the only good thing about like the 24 hours where we thought that there was a chance that Drakeo was gay, is that we all kept saying,
I never thought.
damn, daddy.
Yeah,
we kept saying, damn, daddy. You are not tapped in. You didn't know about it?
No.
You didn't see the video?
No.
I asked him about it. He already cleared it up with me and Vlad, but, you know, he had a little incident, you know.
What kind of little incident?
He was on FaceTime. What about Chike?
That song is not on Apple Music anymore.
What song?
You didn't hear that song he put out? I'm a Northside Cult member, not a stink.
Chike put out a song about Drakeo and then took
that?
it down? No, I didn't see that.
It's not there no more.
Oh, I think I did listen
He
to
took
it
it
actually.
down.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
I heard,
I don't know if he took it down, but it ain't there.
I had somebody telling me that there's a song on the Drakeo album that's about AZ Chike, but I don't know for sure or not. I'll listen to it again. Try to catch the subliminals.
I don't want no
I was
LA
just with
beat.
Draco.
Huh?
I was just with Draco
Where?
at the studio.
Tell us your intelligence that you picked up about him. What is he into?
Tell us your
This nigga.
intelligence. What the fuck?
How's he moving?
We was all together.
How was he
Me, him,
moving?
Ralphie, bro.
Shout out the plug.
On Vezo.
That nigga
Shit
was my
lit.
bunkie.
Draco pulled
TK.
up last night when you were doing that.
No, that was the day before. We
okay.
was in the studio with him after that.
He put out the deluxe. We didn't talk about his album last week at all.
I've been listening to it.
Nigga, I'm fire.
All I gotta say is hun diddy dum.
Bop bop.
Hun diddy
bop
dum.
bop.
Bop bop.
Hun diddy hun diddy bop bop.
I was just laughing my ass off in the car picturing Draco doing that in the studio and making a song where he said hun diddy bop bop.
We got Fullies for Bullies, Chops for Ops, Thoughts on Thoughts. We got Knots on Knots. That whole album is so
was
No, the
good.
album's fire.
I'm fucking with it.
I
I
got
love the T Grizzlies collab. I feel like they both went extra
That
hard
was
for each
fire,
other.
too.
Yeah.
Do you think that he could have took more time and made it even more? Whoa. You think he could have took more time and made it even more?
I'm torn about that because on one hand, I was just so excited for Draco to put a project
Yeah.
out. On the other hand, I would kind of like to hear him make like 100 songs and pick the 10 best ones for a project. But at the same time, I'm glad that he like just dropped something. But I kind of do feel like he should be like a quality over quantity guy. Like I would love to see Draco only drop once or twice per year and just like put out the
Bangers,
hardest shit.
yeah, only
Who knows
bangers.
if he's got that self-control because he wrote 5 trillion fucking songs in jail.
Yeah.
But it's crazy like watching him like doing actual videos, like actually being in the video, having mad people around, like actually just being Draco. Like
fire.
it's kind of like, you know, like when you have somebody locked up like that and you really feel like you might not see them for 10, 20 years, it's kind of like bizarre, like to actually see them get out and really be doing their thing.
That's
you know?
real.
It's surreal. Because you are one person that warned me
that he might not.
that, you know, like don't get too optimistic about this Draco shit because you said, I never seen anybody try to do a fucking rapper dirty like what they're trying to do to Draco
I've
right
never
now.
seen that
Yeah,
shit.
they're trying to
It's
wash
real.
that nigga up.
It's just like now, even with the Casanova situation, it's like
Oh,
they're
man.
really trying to crack down on niggas. Like,
Right.
but the fact that like you know, like Jeff, especially like with Jeff Wise,
He helped avoid
updating-
that scenario
like
for
updating
sure.
everything, and he's telling you like, look, the nigga is innocent. They have no evidence on him, and they just keeping him in there. It's like
Just
that's
because.
fucked up.
Yeah, he brought so much awareness to that case and like really opened up people's eyes.
I feel like if he didn't do what he did, then bro would still be in jail right now.
Yeah,
I
because
honestly believe that.
you didn't see almost anybody in the hip hop world really talking about Draco, like Jeff Weiss, and then to a lesser extent, I don't want the kind of credit that Jeff Weiss has because
Yeah.
he's actually going to the courtroom and shit.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was talking about it, and then like you know other LA rappers, but really not like the big LA rappers that you would maybe expect.
I mean,
to be
who can
concerned
we-
about this
who
movie.
else can we
I had
even
a
talk
conversation with him about this.
Oh, he went on Instagram
Yeah.
Live firing shots, tagging rappers, talking crazy shit.
Yeah.
So if you ever see Draco not really being like well liked by a certain percentage of the hip hop community
No,
and
he-
stuff,
he-
it's because Draco has definitely put himself out
Nah,
there in
he
a certain
asked-
way.
He asked me, he said, AD, why don't these niggas like me? And I told him, I said, listen, it's a kind of on the West Coast, it's like a hierarchy. You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying? So you got niggas like us who got approval from the big homies and we want approval from them and come and drop stuff and then they say, okay, he's good. Let's work with him and do that. I feel like Draco came out like,
You're
I don't
somebody-
care who fucks with me.
You're somebody
You know,
who has
somebody-
clearly put their best foot forward in terms of trying to fuck with people. Show
Facts.
your respects to the OGs.
Facts.
Show your respects to all the bigger artists.
But that's just kinda
doing
how
things for
AD
people
is.
and etc.
But-
Right. But Draco is not pretending to be a nice, civilized, well-mannered dude. Like he is who he is, and we all know that. And you know, as a result, his industry connections are what they are. Like even the Mustard situation. Mustard is a LA entity to the extent where if you sign to Mustard to a certain extent, you're good. Like,
sure.
people will fuck with you. He's gonna fuck with you to the extent that he is concerned about your career. Obviously, at a certain point, if you just have nothing going on, yeah, he might put you on the shelf and not really work with you or something.
That's
but
what I was gonna say.
if you sign up with Mustard, he is gonna fucking give you the craziest production and help really put your ass out there. Draco never signed to a label. Draco never fucking, even with that Mustard situation, when I heard him describing it on Vlad, I was like, yeah, like that sort of explains his predicament to a certain extent.
That's also what I told him too, because I said, look, and me and OT was telling the nigga, like, look, when I first started rapping, me being a Crip in LA was not popular.
That's a fact.
So all the blood rappers was getting shine, and niggas fucked with me, but only to like
on the low,
to a certain extent.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you cool when we see each other, but niggas ain't inviting you to come get on their records.
Niggas ain't
with
posting
everybody
your shit.
else, and you know what I'm saying. So like, that's the same way I told him. I'm like, look, this made me go this way, and then niggas like me and Perico start doing music together and teaming up. You know what I'm saying? And then Roddy come out, and then now it's like, even when it comes down, it's like Crip and Blood rappers from Los Angeles and shit. You know what I'm saying? But before, it's like the same thing.
That's crazy.
Like, niggas won't fuck with you, like, for some certain
or niggas
reason.
will fuck with you on the low. I feel like that's even more disrespectful, right?
But then too, if somebody looks at you kind of like, if you're competition too, and you're from the other side, it's more easier to go over here with everybody else than to, you know what I'm saying?
That's just how LA is. Like, people just don't really go out of their way to fuck with each other. Like even with Draco and Blueface, when they had their little tension, when Blueface first came out, I remember like Draco had a tweet or some shit where he was just kind of like, almost saying that he respects the fact that Blueface was like blatantly kind of like taking some things from his style but not showing any love back, because he was like, this is LA, like, motherfuckers hate each other, and Draco is the last person who would be surprised by that. That's like what's cool about him, is that, well, I appreciate it when he doesn't expect anything, but at a certain point too, when you have a guy who is of your race and doing your exact job and he's being so blatantly fucked over by the criminal justice system, there comes a time period where, for me, I did kind of like feel a little surprised that certain people didn't reach out and shit. But I mean, that is the level of
those same
people
niggas
not fucking with each other.
Those same niggas are probably at home slapping his music too. And
but that's the thing. You got to understand too, is like, if you on the West Coast and you don't fuck with a nigga and the nigga ain't never fucked with you, who's really going to speak out?
Nobody.
And you feel me? And like I said, he didn't go looking for respect from people. He went and did his own thing. And you know what I'm saying? So the support system on the West Coast wasn't there. And I understand. He's like, damn, I'm in a fucked up position and ain't nobody sitting here looking out for me. You know what I'm saying?
But you just made the most important point. If they have no ties to each other before, they didn't work with each other before, they weren't homies, nobody's gonna go out of their way to speak up.
But it is a difference, like, when you're getting fucked over. Because I've never seen that shit. Like I told Adam,
That's
I'm
a
like,
fact.
I've really never seen somebody get done as dirty as he is.
It kind of becomes almost like a human rights issue at a certain point, where it's like, how the fuck are they throwing this dude in solitary for months straight, and he already beat these charges, and you're making him sit in jail for an extra fucking year and a half and shit. Like, at a certain point, it just felt like, fuck, I wish Draco had somebody, one tiny little percentage of a Kim Kardashian to go to bat on it.
Sit there and say, hey, we're not going to take this.
And you almost felt like, even if he had just been like signed to Atlantic Records, that Atlantic Records would have been able to make something shake. I don't know. Maybe that's like asking a little too much. Or if he was just signed with somebody, or if he had one like OG that was looking out for him in the game. Obviously, like, people like TK, and like, he does have his connections and shit, but it's they're at a certain point where, if he had a Meek Mill looking out for him, making noise about it, like the way when Meek Mill was getting totally fucked by the system, you had Rock Nation and Jay-Z really going to bat for him. And then you saw the fucking system actually relent. If you were Draco and you had a Mustard who was on your side, I bet he could have flipped a few fucking switches and made some shit happen.
But see, that's the problem with the West Coast on the music scene, period. Nobody fucks with each other like that. Everybody has their cliques and they stick to their cliques. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just so diverse, and
LA's always been like that.
It's been like that, but that's why the South always been winning, because they're not scared to do songs with each other, and the producers aren't afraid to work with each other and shit like that.
Man,
it's fucked up.
And they got some of the best production, man. And them niggas will be link up together, and it's just like, wow. Because who's another LA producer that's on Mustard's level that they have collabed together? You feel me? I can't even think of nobody.
See, that's bad.
LA very much like takes hip hop being a gigantic thing for granted, and so like people don't really see it as like, oh, we got to go support these other guys on the other side of town. It's more like, whereas like down in Texas and stuff is sort of a feel of like, we're from Texas, we're the underground, we're the underdogs rather, and we got to like work together to like make something happen. Yeah. Whereas LA or New York, it's a little bit more of like a, people take hip hop being gigantic for granted, and so it doesn't really seem like, oh, I gotta go support this guy. But I was listening to a fucking old ass Juicy J interview, I believe it was, where he was talking about how he could have beef with people within Memphis, but then be out of town. Oh no, it was Project Pat talking about it. Or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't Project Pat. It was DJ Paul.
Whatever.
DJ Paul.
That's my big homie. Shout out
DJ Paul. We should have him on sometime.
Yeah,
but
sure. I'll tell
saying that he could have problems with people in Memphis, but then all of a sudden, if they were in Miami for a show or something, all of a sudden, all these dudes that he doesn't get along with in Memphis could be drinking and smoking together because they're looking at each other kind of like allies. Like, oh, somebody, you know, we're out of town. Somebody might try to do something to us. So if we're all from the same place, we're going to kind of look out for each other.
We're going to make sure we get back home.
Even though when we're back home, we don't have anything to do with each other. Which I thought was kind of interesting.
LA is, because LA is, we're spoiled.
Right.
And then too, you have to factor in gang banging. Oh, yeah. So there's somebody who may like somebody's music and say, I can't fuck with him because he's from over there.
Yeah, literally.
And you know what I'm saying? We'll listen to his shit in private, but we'll never reach a hand out to fuck with that person.
We're a nigga friend.
That's like when people were like, oh my God, I can't believe Blueface didn't say R.I.P. Nipsey. And it's like,
exactly. When you are really kind of closer to that whole situation, you start realizing like, damn, people's hoods really don't like each other to an extent that they just won't. You know, him just not saying anything is probably like the best case scenario.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't feel like it was a hood thing. I feel like it's a gap. Like they weren't cool. They didn't know each other.
They didn't know each other at all.
You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't know each other at all. So it's like, you know, God forbid somebody dies that I don't fucking know. I don't expect nobody to sit there and act
like that was cool with me and shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be like, no, I don't.
Niggas think just because Blueface is a Crip and from LA and is a rapper that he should have said something about Nipsey. But that's just people that are far removed from the situation that have no idea how the actual politics work.
People just want to just be angry at him.
That's a fact.
But even that Nipsey thing though is Nipsey in that situation was such an elite rapper and had such a big role in the community that people look at that situation like anybody should be willing to put local animosity aside to be able to pay respect to somebody who was such an icon in hip hop. And that's kind of what we wished that people would. We were like in the same boat of like, damn, I wish that somebody in LA would put the partisan bullshit aside and go to bat for this guy. But I mean, hey, if this is your enemy or in some context, or you really look at him like he's just somebody that you don't fuck with him, he's a dickhead, which Drakeo is very, very good at sort of courting that attention. If you actually listen to his music, he's basically calling everybody bums and fucking calling you all a bunch of fucking jabronis for God knows what. I mean, it's not really that surprising to me that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
These niggas really Venice Beach hobos.
Fuck these Venice Beach ass
too, like, if your competition and the competition goes to jail, come on, these niggas really like, he ain't on my heels no more. You feel me?
Yeah.
For real.
Oh God.
So yeah, shout out Drakeo. Go listen to his project.